Whitley Bay Big Local has been here for over 10 years. It's a 10-year funded programme, and now, as we're approaching the end of the funding, we're encouraged to think about what our legacy is, the legacy of this 10-year programme. For some big locals, they're just going to stop existing. Their legacy will be the impact that they've delivered over the last 10 years. For us, we want to continue. We want to be a sustainable asset, and we want to keep making a difference to local people. For us to do that, we need a base, and Whitley Bay Hub is the base that we hope to continue to offer community services for the next 10 or 20 or 30 years. Downsides of renting, twofold really. The first was it was more expensive than we would have been repaying on the mortgage, but the main downside was the lack of freedom to do what we wanted to do with the building. To make any changes, we needed permission from the landlord, and that wasn't always forthcoming. It was a difficult exercise, and sometimes that was yes and sometimes that was no, so we weren't really able to plan. And there was also from me and the board, there was the issue of not really wanting to add value to somebody else's asset. We decided to go from renting to buying mainly because we wanted a permanent home for the charity, somewhere that we could build a base and somewhere that where the community really get to know us, and there's a sense of longevity after the end of the Big Local grant programme. We wanted to create a sustainable base, so we needed the building to be able to have some way of generating income for us, so that at the end of the grant we wouldn't just disappear, that it was part of our legacy, that we've got this hub that can continue for hopefully generations to come. By purchasing the community hub instead of renting it, it's created cost savings of over £2,000 a month, and that's allowing us to reinvest in the community activities, but also to keep costs down for other building users, and to keep costs down in the cafe, making it truly a hub for the community. Owning the building has allowed us to approach funders that we wouldn't have otherwise been able to. On a short-term lease, funders aren't able to offer the funding that you need to make changes to the building, so it's opened doors and allowed us to secure in excess of £500,000 in capital funding to refurbish the building to the standard that we wanted. By buying the asset, it means that we've been able to make the changes to create that sustainable hub. We've been able to build a cafe on the ground floor. We've been able to make changes to the upper floors that have allowed more rental income to come through. If we hadn't have bought it, we couldn't have done any of those things. I think taking a loan out with Charity Bank has sort of created the foundations for what this hub can become, and with the board and with the input of local people, we're starting to really dream about what the future could be for Whitley Bay, and the hub allows us to do that. And without the loan from Charity Bank, we wouldn't have had the hub in the first place.